Hi and welcome to Trend Micro TV. My name is Mark Copeman, and in this series on the EU General Data Protection Regulation, I'm joined again by Kevin Bailey from IDC, and we're going to be talking through some of the technological considerations when it comes to this regulation. Kevin, this session is all about practical steps that businesses can take. We've heard from Robert in other sessions about some of the companies affected and some of the people issues. From a technology perspective, what should people be looking at first? What's the priority here?
I think the ideal scenario for anybody is have a plan straight away. Let's get a plan in place. This isn't about trying to readjust what you've already got that may be working for the commercial side of your business. This is about introducing the regulation into your security infrastructure. And the easy and simplest way to do that from the start is, as Robert had mentioned before, is have an audit. Have a look and see what you've got in place at the moment. It's so easy for people to say, I've got this covered, and they don't have it covered. So have a plan, understand where you are in relation to the regulation, not in relation to your commercial business. It's emphasis on that. These are two different things. Yeah. Once you have that plan in place and you understand where the areas are that you need to address, then what you need to do is look at how technology can address that. And remember, what we're addressing is the data protection of personal identifiable information, i.e. the movement of the data within the company, outside of the company, across state borders and country borders that are there. To address that, what we need to do, as I say, is find out which technologies or processes we need to put into place. It's a combination of both. It's people and technology. And
it's not about ripping up and starting again either, is it?
No,
it's about building on your current infrastructure.
Yeah, and that's one of the things the EU tried to put into place as part of this regulation. They didn't want it to be cost prohibitive. Yeah. Yes, you've got to employ a data protection officer, but they didn't want people to say, well, I've got to bring in all this new infrastructure. So it's about looking at things such as data loss prevention techniques. So it's both a process and a technology. So if you're going to send data out to the company, you need to make sure it's going to someone who's authorised to see that data. When it's not authorised to see it, then you need automated software to stop that from happening. In the same way, encryption technologies, i.e. the ability for somebody not to be able to read a piece of data. Now, we know data will get out, unfortunately. It always happens. There's always a flaw. So you need to be assured that when that data gets out, somebody can't read that data if they're not supposed to. So it's technologies like that that need to put in there. But it's covered with the education. The education to the individual, and this can be security analysts, this could be HR people, of how they interact together with security technology to make sure that the organisation is protected, but also the people underneath it that are operating in there are also protected as well.
So it's actually taking away the risk from the individual by implementing these technologies.
Totally, and we have to take the risk away. Yeah, we spoke earlier about having 3 different types of people in an organisation. We know there'll always be hackers around because, unfortunately, that's the generation Ys and Zs of this world that have come through and understand it, and they want to find new ways to do things. That's fine, yeah, those are the people we'll identify, and those are the criminals that the police will deal with. But then we also have the socially engineered individuals, the people who think they're being communicated through email, through a friend, when actually it's somebody trying to gain access to the information. Yeah. And then finally we have that person that's the innocent employee, you know, the sales marketing person that's doing 100% a year and they're doing everything right, but they're actually sending their data to their home PC to process it on, not because it's doing wrong, they're so committed to their job, they want to work at night on it. But the home PC doesn't have the same levels of security that the work PC does. So we need to educate them on that and get them to understand, and that will shore up the defences.
Regulation is often seen as a stick, but there's some real sort of carrot here as well, because there's huge business benefits from getting this right. Maybe talk through some of those.
Yeah, I think it's that insurance policy of something that could cost you a lot of money and could cost you brand reputation. Remember, most criminals are cyber criminals attack you for one of 2 or 3 reasons, and that could be a personal reason, that could be financial reason, or it could be brand reputational reasons that they're trying to do that. if you think that when an attack happens, and understand different businesses have different effects, a small medium enterprise type of environment, an attack could cost them anything from £15,000 to £40,000 per attack.
Yeah.
That is not only the cost of the attack, but the clean up and the operation. For an enterprise, it goes north of £1 million.
Yes.
You're saving that. You're also saving the fact that because under the regulation you have to disclose this information to the Information Commission's officer, the ICO, that information may become available, the Freedom of Information Act, which means that gets out into the general public.
So brand damage.
Totally.
Which is very hard to quantify as well.
And you quantify it. That's when stocks suddenly get appeared in commercially private companies.
Kevin, Trend Micro, one of the leaders in this particular space. You spend all of your time analysing businesses in the security arena. What are your thoughts on what Trend Micro are doing at the moment?
I'm impressed at the moment with their approach to this, specifically around regulation and integration. And earlier this year, I introduced two areas within my security predictions this year. One was around integration of security technology, so it makes it easier for the security administrators, for businesses to get more out of their products, but being able to understand the fact that the cyber risks of 5 years ago is not the same today.
Right.
There are not single attacks anymore, there's multiple attacks happening on organisations at the same time. So you can have a web denial of service attack going at the same time as an endpoint Trojan attack. Which one are you going to deal with first?
Yes.
Well, you need technologies that address that simultaneously right across the board. If you take that, which is, like I say, one of my predictions this year, that this integration will happen, and it is happening, with the fact that I predicted that 10% of security budgets will be used for regulation and compliance. Yeah, Trend is one of the leaders in this area at the moment that's addressing the concerns of the end user in how they use technology to actually make sure that they're compliant with the regulations. So it will be good to see how the rest of 2013 going into 2014 happens with them. And I know they've got a lot of stuff that they're going to move forward for that. So, you know, I predict that, you know, good things could happen to the company, which is what you would want. Yeah. But it needs a lot of focus in this area because they've got to be there to help the customer and make sure that the technologies are in there for the right place.
Thank you ever so much for your thoughts today. It's appreciated. There are other videos you'll find on this webpage as well. In the meantime, thank you for watching.